I would like to present you Infomaniac to you. Infomaniac is this year our gold sponsor of the Swiss Pearl Workshop. They are a web hoster. They are number one in Switzerland. They are in business since some time, 25 years. They host about 400,000 domain names and 1 million email addresses. They invest most of the profit in development. They are based in Switzerland, in Winterthur and in Geneva. And you can contact them in any language which is useful in Switzerland. They run their own data center and they kind of care about sustainability. The offers they have is domains, web, mail hosting, cloud servers, some kind of elastic cloud platform as a service thingy, and high availability hosting. And yeah, for us, our group, they have a special offer. They offer free web and mail hostings for 1 year, 2 cloud servers for 1 year, and 2 times 100 credits of this elastic cloud. If you have interest, talk to me. I will figure out maybe tomorrow noon how we distribute this. And yeah, we also got some very nice backpacks. We have really good bags. We have 50 of them, so take 2, please. And just for the end, the message of the boss. Just go back to the start. They would like to have some kind of picture for social media. Whoever does there, please come to the front. Okay. So here now. Let's go. Then I just change my hat. Yeah. Now I talk about what I know. I'm working for Open Systems. We are just soon sponsor. We are a provider of managed security, SD-WAN, as it's called nowadays. We have kind of 30 different service options. It's all about network traffic, WAN encryption, traffic shaping, path selection, routing, whatever. Then security option like firewall, intrusion detection, whatever you want to have. We have about 6,500 hosts, kind of all over the world, wherever our customers are. Most of our customer base is kind of industrial, but more interesting or more special or more kind of demanding operation-wise are the UN organizations, which are part of our customer base, because they're everywhere and stuff doesn't run always in air-conditioned data centers. It doesn't always have power. So, and we have kind of a 24/7 all-year operations. We are based mainly in Zurich. There is some sales and local customer support in Germany, Düsseldorf, and New York in the US. And we have kind of our second base now in Redwood City in California, where we do kind of the night shift of operations and the marketing. I myself work in development. We have kind of different teams there. I am part of the platform team, which has a kind of a custom Linux, and I do the monitoring and configuration management, which is a lot of Perl. More and more Go is coming. And up on that platform, we have many different services. And there's a customer portal, which has Java backend. Yeah, and we are hiring. There are about 30 clusters of positions open. And not yet online, there is also a Perl developer position in my team open, just since very recent. So if you want to, please talk to me. I would be glad. Thank you for listening.
I wanted to do a bit of a sales pitch. Also some information on how I came to this. So something like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, stand over there maybe. Something like 12, 13 years ago. I don't have any camera. Computer stuff. Something like 12, 13 years ago, I started bringing Perl books, all the Perl books we had, to meetings, Perl Monger meetings, Dutch Perl workshop, other Perl workshops that we were, and people started, can I buy this? They started asking, can I buy that from you? Maybe. We have a company, so we can do that. So I contacted O'Reilly. We just do stuff like that. I order books from you, and then I sell them at commuter price. Oh yes, you can have 50% off. Okay. Ordering books, selling them at Perl Monger meetings and Perl workshops and stuff. And that's how I got stuff like this for really low prices. I haven't sold one of these until the Perl Liga, something like 2 years. I still have 5 of them left. So Perl sold one of these. Happy. Still have 4 of them. I cut the prices in half again. So at the moment these are only 15 euros, which is a small portion of what the real price is. By now I have deals like that with O'Reilly, with Pact, with the cup of coffee, the robot thing, and several other publishers. What? Manning, yes, Manning as well, and No Starch. Yes, that's No Starch. Very nice logo. Also some tea in there, maybe for your coffee. Anyway, I'm selling all but one of the Perl 6 books, and I have deals with publishers like Pact and authors like Andrew Shitov that I can sell them at commuter prices at events like that. So really, you won't get them any cheaper than with me. Really, or maybe somebody gives it for free like you, so like these. But people didn't only ask me for books. Sometimes people also gave me freebies that I could hand out to other people. At some point somebody gave me stickers and buttons, and more importantly, tuits. Who knows what a tuit is? Tell you later. Who doesn't know what a tuit is? Really? Okay, yeah, I can explain. So this is a tuit. This is a tuit because it says so. Tuit, yes? It is round. So this is a round tuit. If I give this to you, you get a round tuit. You get a round tuit. It's English, you know, so you get stuff done. It's very nice for project management. So if you have a colleague that you're co-working on a project and your stuff is finished, and your colleague comes to you and says, Elmar, you know, the project we're working on, my part, should be finished something like last week. I haven't even started yet. Sidetracked, other priorities. I did not get around to it. You reach in your back pocket. Now you get around to it. There's your computer, work on it now. But be careful, you miss a deadline every now and then, so at some point the tuit gets back to you. So people started giving me stuff, and I decided to make some stuff. So I found my neighbor making buttons for me. Very nice big buttons. Then people said, well, do you have anything else than Perl 6 buttons? Of course, of course. I found a company that would make smaller buttons for me, a bit cheaper. This is my last one, powered by Perl. Who's interested in this one? I won't have powered by Pearl buttons anymore. Nobody wants to have it? It's free. No? Okay.
Well, powered by rock.
I found a company that would make nice stickers for me. So by now, this I think I've had something like 12 different stickers made for us, like Pearl 6, Pearl 5, whatever. And then we have conferences and badges, and well, what's nicer than to decorate them with a badge extender? So I will take off the thing there, and suddenly my badge is nicer and shows my love for Pearl 6. By the way, all those stuff cost money, and we just give it away for free. So you know, you silly things. Like I said, people give me stuff. So I got whole batches from Jonathan of their products from Ediment. This is the sticker for Crow, the microservices product, and that's the sticker for Comma, the editor, the IDE, that you can also use for debugging your Pearl 6 code, even remotely. I've heard recently. And then other people give me more stuff, like this beautiful lady, Olga, if you see, hi Olga, from the Ukraine, who makes cards for us. Like Larry Wall card. On the other side, there's home for a signature, so if you meet Larry Wall, you can have it signed it the Larry Wall way, with stamps, Cameron and stuff. And the other one is Pearl 6 is when you get back to lost places. Like we've been in Riga before, so this is the second time in Riga. Also a postcard, so you can send a Pearl 6 card to your friends. This has cost me 11 months to make, because designers are not the smartest people all the time. Designers what they're good at, but you notice that there's a P there, there's a 6 there. That blew their mind.
It's not symmetrical.
It's not symmetrical.
Cannot be.
P, Q, 6, 9, B, D, whatever combinations they had. No! A P and a 6! Listen! Okay, you guys are new design. No, not B, D again! Stop doing that! A P and a 6. Pearl 6. When I have the P of this of the Pearl. Anyway. This is the we needed two real prototypes, and then we said, well, you can order them 1,000 copies of them. But I think I will need 100. Well, no, it's the same price as 1,000. Okay, so I need 1,000. Okay, 1,000 is 2 pallets full of boxes in a container, which is a lot of money. So, anyway, I made those. I'm for sale for them. You know, Pearl is also a city in Germany. It's on the 3-country point with Germany, with France and Luxembourg. It's on the river Mosel. Oh, wait. And when you drive around there, everywhere there's beautiful hills coming from the river up, and they're completely filled with vineyards. Grapes everywhere, white, red, black, blue, beautiful. And so they make wine, a lot of different wine. Liz and I a little bit fell in love with Schmid Weber, which is a very nice wine house. And they make wine like this. This is a Schmid Weber Spätburgunder, 2011. This is the last bottle I have. And I'm selling this for 10 euros a bottle. And they're very nice wine. It's pearl wine from the city of Pearl. Really, this came from the city of Pearl. So at some point, word got out that Pearl 6 was going to be published. And what do? Celebrate. We went over there, asked him, do you have any wine? A big barrel of wine that you can use for special occasions? Well, we've got several. And they have to ripen a little bit. Depending on your wishes, we either ripen this way or that way. Okay, so we ended up with a sect, well, a Secco actually, which is the German version of Prosecco. So this has small bubbles. It's a little bit dryish, still a bit sweet. And Pearl 6 wine. So, Pearl 6 Secco, Pearl Secco. Nice. At some point, the Pearl Foundation had a nice idea, make badges. Real nice badges with a glue layer on the back, so you can put it on your laptop like this. This has done there. Also, they are very thick material. Feel this?
So it's not iron on.
It's not iron, but it's sew on. You have a needle for that. So you can put it on a study jacket or your laptop bag or whatever. Every of these badges pays for 1 hour of work by a Perl 5 developer or a Perl 6 developer. People who develop the core of the language. So by buying this, you support Perl itself. 1 hour of it. They're 50 euros, that's a lot of money, but still, you support it. By the way, today I sold one. Thank you very much. I'm almost there. Somebody made Camellia cookie cutters for me. The 3D printer. This is the 4th version, because every now and then, okay, we finally can do this. Then the wings break off too easily. This version, wings stay on reasonably good until they put them in the mouth. Very nice. And then this is the last copy of the Perl calendar, made by Andrew Shitov, and I've taken a lot of them. This is the last one I had. And you have very nice things like, I like the July version, which has been shown by Liz earlier today, saying 0.1 plus 0.2 minus 3.2. You know what the outcome is? Exactly 0, like it should in Perl 6. So, well, that's basically it. I'm providing button stickers and tweets to the Perl community for years. Brochures, wine, animals, books, cards, patches, and I hope we can continue doing that, and that maybe other people will do that. You have questions?
No, a short addition.
Okay.
To the city of Perl.
Yes.
I think, well, if I remember correctly, it belongs to the municipality of Borg. So it's also something for starters.
No,
way around.
No, other way around. Okay. It's the city of Perl, and Borg is a village up there. By the way, attached to Perl is Oberperl. Oberperl.
And
Vrijstaat Oberperl.
We are close to the border of France. On the other side, there's Apache, just without the E.
Yes, you know, that's Apache Straße in Perl. So, well, Perl, go there, visit it, show them the ways of Perl. Yeah. Thank you for your attention.
Glue is the working title of a photo project I've been shooting since 2015. And I need your help. So I started this here at the Swiss Pro Workshop in 2015. Yeah. And I've always been, this is one of the first photos I took, and I've always been fond of this. I just like everything that's going on in the photo. That was 4 years ago, and every single Perl conference, every single Perl workshop I've been to since then, I've been shooting photos. So I've got about 800 photos now. And I think I've still got 2 or 3 years left to shoot this project because I need more photos to make a final edit. And when we make an edit, what we do is we take our entire set of photos and we pick maybe 50, maybe 100 photos, and then we filter it down to a smaller selection. So this is another one from that same year, just there. And when we have that edit of photos, we figure out some sort of sequence. So we have a starting point, and then a journey, and then an end point. And this was in Granada in 2015. And often what we do when we sequence images is we create pairs. So we have 2 images that complement each other or they contrast one another. So for example, this is an image from Orlando, the Perl conference in 2016, I think it was. And it kind of works with that image as a pair, because we've got this, you know, we've got a contrast of lots of people and a single person, but we've also got this kind of lots of geometry. We've got lots of squares and rectangles in the images, so they kind of work together in a way. But yeah, and the perspective as well, exactly. But I started to think about what else could I pair these images with, and often what we do now with photo projects is we have, how do we fit text into a photo project? And I thought, well, why don't I pair snippets of code with a photo. So this is actually a piece of production code I wrote 5 years ago, and basically it transforms an array of hashes into an array of arrays, where the arrays in the array are sorted by the original keys of those hashes. And I kind of like how it pairs here, because when you read a map, you kind of read it backwards to front, so you kind of got this chaos, and then it ends up as order. So it kind of fits with that image, I think. So I wrote this one yesterday. Can anybody figure out what that is? Yeah, hopscotch. This is from the French Pro Workshop 2017. So it just fits with that image. And if you didn't know Perl, you didn't know programming, now you kind of know what that code is doing. So it works. And it maybe would address this question as well. You can't really say this was a talk that Stephen gave in Yunnan, was it? I think. He was asking, yeah, that's right. And he was asking, can code be art? And I think this would, in some way, address art language. So I've uploaded this CPAN module, Glue. And I would very much like it if people would contribute a small snippet of code. It doesn't have to be Perl 5, it doesn't have to be Perl 6, it can be anything that you're fond of or you find interesting, or is just a piece of code. And you can create a pull request, and I will put it into the module, and it might end up in the final project. Now, you don't need to worry about seeing the images that I've shot. If you want to see them, please ask me and I'll show you lots of images. But the way that photo projects tend to work is you shoot lots of photos, and then you have such a large body of work that things just end up pairing with other things. It's just the way it happens. And if I get enough snippets of code, they will just end up pairing with other things. It's just serendipitous, basically. So that was at the Perl conference in Washington, DC, which had a DeLorean which ran on Perl. So I think the obvious one there is to get a little bit of that code that's coming from the DeLorean character behind. And then, how do you solve the packing problem for camel-shaped objects? That might be an interesting snippet of code. Yeah. Camels and something that's fragile. Wine. Yep. So I said there's basically, I don't know how long this will take me, 2-3 years, maybe not so long, maybe a bit longer. But I should start thinking about this now, because it takes a while to edit a photo project, put it together and rework it and shuffle it and come to a final form. And I'm not aware of any photo project like this, so it would be unique. And I think it would be quite cool. So Acme Glue on CPAN, and it's on GitHub, and you can create a pull request. And that's it. Any language. No, any language is fine.
You take photos? My photo project.
So, no, I pair them because the art side. Yeah, that's the art side of it, basically. So contribute. Thank you.
So when I'm going to talk about this, my book, you can buy it from. Actually, so the basic idea is that well, I've written a series of books in several languages. I actually have a book on Python. It sells very well. Another one on Git. But I wrote this book on Perl 6, and then, well, the basic idea is that I have to. It sells for how much? 6 euros only. Yeah. So basically, it's You broke it! What's the deal?
On purpose.
Yeah. This is the weirdest thing. Basic idea is that you have to, you need to have several tools to actually bring the book to production, because the book is written in Markdown, right? So it's okay. So I'm going to eat my own dog food, and I'm going to write something in Per6 to produce this Per6 book. What do you have to do? Well, you know, books don't produce themselves. I also have kind of a theory that says that you should write books in the same way that you produce software. So actually, this book is in continuous integration. So every time I push to master, it's spell checked and everything. So it tells me how many words I have. That doesn't remind. That's written in Per, by the way. But the basic idea is that I have to do a series of things to produce it, to actually release the book or deploy the book, right? The first thing is that I have two different versions. You need, I'm self-publishing this book, so that means that I have to upload several versions to Kindle KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. The first one is ebook. Ebook is basically EPUB. EPUB is easy, you can do that. The second one is PDF. PDF is trickier because it doesn't flow, so you have to kind of have it in the same way that's going to appear in the page. That's one thing. And the second thing is that you have to check for typographic errors. So if you upload a PDF and you have errors, like usually it's too long lines, Kindle is going to complain and it's going to tell you, I can't do this. I'm not going to publish this. Amazon, despite being a very big cloud company, they don't have any kind of API for doing that kind of thing. Besides, the checker for the PDF is a Flash application. So yeah, so you can't really scrape your way into creating an API for it. So you have to check it in advance. So I did it with Per6. So basic idea is, well, the thing I got to do with the PDF is also with the ebook you can insert many URLs, but with the PDF you can't do that because the URLs have to be expanded. So first step, I'm going to take all the URLs in the text, the original text. I'm going to extract them, so I can do some stuff with them. I do this with this small snippet of code. It's actually using a module that's called Text Markdown, which was abandoned, and I took it up. And then when I took it up, I understood why it was abandoned. No, it's again abandoned. Well, I don't know. I'm taking care of it, so I gotta do that. Give me a tweet, so I will do it. I will get around to it eventually. But for this kind of thing, it works, right? So it's checking everything. It's extracting whatever is a link, and it's taking it out. So that works. So part of that, what I get is a big JSON file with all the URLs and what they point to. Right. Second thing is, I need to check the length of the lines, but only the lines of code. Because when I'm producing the PDF, what it's actually doing is creating a LaTeX file from that. So text is okay, text is going to flow. I don't have a problem with that, but code is not going to flow. So once again, I got to get a part of the document that's code. So I got to extract code and check the length of the lines. I do that using this very nice operator in Per6, which is an appropriately named field. I like to call it rocket because it's a rocket. So I apply several rockets. So at the end of the day, I get just a message saying you got this line, which is in such and such line of your file, and it's wrong. You gotta fix it. Right? That's the second thing. Third thing is when I'm going to insert the URLs into the final production file. I don't know if you see it, for instance, right here. What you have is a short URL, because sometimes you have this long URL. First thing, it's going to be too long for the line, again, so it's going to cause trouble with that kind of thing. Second thing is, you want people reading the book to maybe type the thing. So I go to the Google URL shortener. I use the API for shortening the URL. The only thing I do is I do a HTTP request using JSON, using JPOS. This was done. It's a module that's called www. It was created by Suffix.net. So it's doing an API request. It's of course you gotta set up the API key and everything like that. So eventually, what I have is another JSON file with the shortened URL. Original URL, shortened URL. That's the third thing. Finally, what I've got to do is to get those URLs and substitute the long URL for the short URL. I do that. This thing does that. So it's a simple regular expression. I don't use text markdown anymore. I say, okay, no, I'm gonna go all the way and I'm going to use a regular expression. So this part up to, let me see if I can find it. Up to here is trying to get the URL, right? And the other part is substituting the URL, so it's creating a new file, right? So finally, what I'm doing is start the process. So I got this shell file, which is using PanDoc. PanDoc is a wonderful tool. I don't know if you use it. It's used for converting from any kind of text format into any other kind of text format. So I am using that, with all the thing. Using that here, I say deploy file. I'm using the short URLs because those don't change a lot from time to time. I'm using the new files. Then I'm generating some many different files, and then eventually I'm removing them. It should be asterisk somewhere over here, and doing also some other kind of stuff. So finally, I get to deploy that. So with that, I generate that PDF. I upload it to KDP. I can't do it with an API. Again, there's no API, and everything works fine. So you see, a very small production. This is the killer app of Persix.
So I basically recycled a bit from a POL6 workshop I gave last year and turned them into 2 lightning talks. So here goes. This is about consistency and interpolation. I already discussed earlier that I think POL6 is very consistent. For instance, if you use the tilde, it means stringify, right? If you use plus, it names numericify, whatever. If you use a question mark, it means booleanify. If you use parens, it means grouping. If you use a comma, it means a list. This should sound familiar. A dollar means a scalar. An @ sign means something positional, like an array. The percent sign means something associative. And an ampersand means something callable. Should look familiar. Curly braces means there's code inside. I'm still not sure how you call these. Pointy brackets means it's quoted words inside. And that's the basically rules that we have in POL6. So let me repeat. Stringify, numericify, booleanify, group, make a list, scalar, positional, aka array, percent associative, aka hash, callable, code inside, quoted words inside. So let me give you some examples. So if I have 2 numbers and I want to actually add them as connect them, concat them as strings, I use the tilde in between and it will automatically convert them to strings, and I will wind up with a string 42666. If I have 2 strings with 42 and 66 and I put a plus between them, I get a number because it numerically. If I have put parens around 42 and ask what is this, it's an int because parens are for grouping. If I actually want to have a list, I have to add a comma. The comma makes something a list. Right? The fat comma, like in POL5, builds a indicates a key and a value, but in Perl 6 it actually builds a pair. It's another object. So I've actually built a hash here. I can actually access a key from the hash by quoting there, because inside curly braces there's code, so I need to quote it. Or I can just put an actual piece of code there, or I can use the angle brackets way of specifying I want to have the key A, because inside there are quoted words. If I want to access multiple elements, I can actually say, put a comma in there. The comma makes it a list. Because it's a list, it knows it needs to generate a list. Or I can put in a range if I want to, because yeah, that's also code and it will do the right thing. Or I can just put multiple quoted words between the angle brackets. All very consistent. If you want to actually interpolate a scalar variable, just say $foo, like $5. If you want to actually have an array in there, now that's a little bit special, because array will only be interpolated when you actually indicate that you want to use it as an array, and you indicate it by actually adding the square brackets there. If you do not, it will not interpolate. If you want to interpolate the whole array, you can do that, but you can actually specify the square brackets without something in between. We refer to that as the Zen slice. So the same for hashes. So if you want to interpolate a hash, elements from a hash inside a string, you can just specify that. Specify the thing here. If you have something like a subroutine, like something with calculating the square root, you can actually call that inside your squared, inside your double quoted string, as long as you put the parentheses after it, because that indicates that you want to call it. Right? So you can put ampersand square root without the parentheses in there and it will just be text. The parentheses indicate that you want to call it. Yeah. You do need to ampersand there. However, if you have, like I had in my example, if you have a block in a scalar variable, you can say $variable with parens, and then it will call it. It will try to call whatever is on the left hand side of it.
How do you escape it?
Sorry?
How do you escape it if you want to actually print square root 42?
Put the backslash before the square, before the ampersand.
Okay, not before the parent.
That would work too.
Okay.
But I think it would be less clear actually. But that would work too, because I'm not moving. Yeah, okay. Because then, yeah, it would know that. And of course, if you want to just calculate something and show it inside your double quoted string, you just use the curly braces, and it's a piece of code in there. It will get evaluated, and the result of that will be shown.
Example would be hash %H.
Yeah.
If you put curly braces there.
Yeah.
Curly brace would be a code inside.
Yeah.
And inside, if you quote the A,
yeah,
would the double quotes around the A's close the closing?
No.
Inside the curly braces.
Inside the curly braces, it knows its code, and you can do whatever you want in there. You can actually put, if you want to, a double quoted string in there with code in there. It goes. You can go as deep as you want. It will nest correctly. Yeah, it will nest correctly. Yes. I mean, Perl 6 at every level when it's parsing code knows where it is and what the braid is, what they call it, the sub-language that we're working in. So it knows when it's inside a regular expression, it knows when it's in double quoted string, etc. And this was my part about consistency and interpolation. Thank you very much. Now on to the next one. Exit. And this one is about containers versus references. Well, there's no really versus because there are no references in Perl 6. Or you could argue everything is a reference. But as a programmer, you don't know that. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know whether something is a reference or not. Because Perl 6 has containers. And generally, you don't know if something is inside a container or not. Because containers in general use are transparent. You don't see them. You just see the value there. If you do an assignment, it's replacing the contents of a container. The container object, it's an object, like everything else, and Perl 6 is an object. Stays the same, it's the contents that change. However, if you bind something, it makes two items equivalent to each other. So I'm giving you some examples. This creates a container with the name $A and puts the value 42 in there. Now this is the container object. This is the binding that happens internally. And this is like the lax pad of where we created this, and this is actually the key that we use in there. This is one of the nice features in Perl 6. If you want to actually inspect what lexical variables you have somewhere in there, you can just use my : and it acts as a hash. And you can just ask what you have there. So you can ask what all the keys that you have in there, etc. Very nice introspection. And you can actually, well, not important. This here creates a container B and puts the value of A in it. So again, this binds a container to the lexical pad and basically copies the value over into here. In this case, I'm binding a $C to $A. And what happens there is that we already have a $A in the lex pad. We also create a $C, but they actually refer to the same scalar container. You could consider that to be a hard link to it, if you want to talk in file system terms. So, if I assign 666 to $C and then say $A, I will get 666 because the assignment is done using this lexical pad, put 666 in there, and then I look it up using this lexical pad, and it's the same container, so you get the same value. Now, okay. Now, why would you do this, right? Well, you could every now and then, but the $C here could be a value in a hash. It could be a value 3 levels deep in a hash. So by binding it to something 3 levels deep in a hash, you don't actually have to do the indexing all the time. You could argue, hey, it's become a reference. Yeah. But that's not the case. It just basically it bounds to the same container that lives inside the hash. So if I bind 42 to $D, basically what happens is that I actually bind the 42 to the lexical pad $D. Then if I later try to assign to it, it says, can't do that because this is not a container. It's immutable. It's 42. It cannot be changed. I can change the binding, but I cannot assign to it. All right? So what happens if I actually iterate over a list? See, this is commas, so this is a list. And I say $_, then what happens is that the $_ is actually bound to all of these values. Which means that I can say them, but they're immutable. Right? Now, if I iterate over an array, so I make an at foo with 1, 2, 3, I iterate iterate over the tool, again, it's bound to the elements, but those are the containers. So you can actually change them. Just like in Perl 5 actually. Right? But this is the reason why this works in Perl 6. So that's it about containers versus references. Thank you very much.